did you know during the Screaming Mantis boss fight, if you let her spirit orb take over Snake, which makes it impossible to damage her, trying to constantly shoot at Mantis in this state will cause the secret game startup screen to appear, with the text Kojima inside the Konami logo, followed by the Fox badge flipped to XOF with the words Kojima Protection. Plus, depending on which doll you shoot off Screaming Mantis, she'll lose control over different enemies. By shooting Psycho Mantis's doll, she'll be unable to move alive enemies like Meryl, while shooting the Sorrow's doll will make her lose control over dead enemies. You can also pick up these dolls and use them in the battlefield to control soldiers both dead and alive respectively. By jerking your controller, it'll violently shake them around in the air just like a puppet, which also causes them to drop items and ammunition. In fact, Psycho Mantis was a master of reading the minds and emotions of alive soldiers, as we saw in the Phantom Pain, while the Sorrow is a spirit medium who can bring back aggravated souls to attack the living, which explains how Psycho Mantis came back in MGS4, since you can actually see the Sorrow at the end of the boss fight by holding L1 during the cutscene. This is just one of many amazing details we're gonna show about MGS4. After unlocking the Big Boss emblem, you get this special head camo. Using the Big Boss head in front of enemies will cause them to cower in fear and eventually fall unconscious. The frog unit will even instantly pass out upon looking at the skull face. But if you look closer, this is in fact the face of Solidus Snake that was burnt in Act 3, since his right eye is still open while his left isn't, which is the only difference between the real and copy. In fact, during the Laughing Octopus's fight, the human mannequin in Naomi's research lab is actually modeled after the real Big Boss, since his right eye is closed. You can instantly defeat Vamp at the start of the fight by hiding, then sneaking up behind him with the syringe, skipping the whole part of him recovering damage from nanomachines. Alternatively, the solar gun also depletes Vamp's entire health and sets him on fire because vampires can't handle sunlight. But Vamp will occasionally try to jump on Snake and perform this dance attack, so watch out. Man, this boss fight is actually something else. Other cool boss battle details include, during the Raging Ravens boss fight, once she gets to 30% health, she'll start to do this grab attack on Snake where she pulls him up and slams him on the floor. If she manages to do 3 ground slams on Snake every time after, she'll fly up really high and drop you from the top of the tower straight to game over. But you can actually press the action button while you're falling to try grabbing on a ledge and climb back in the map. Though if a ledge is a bit far away, it's really easy for her to blast you off the side of the building, causing a game over. Plus, Raging Raven will occasionally hide on a rooftop to try recovering for a bit before reattaching her wings. If you look at the top right of your screen, you'll see there's a wind direction icon. If you're downwind during Crying Wolf's fight, she can smell Snake, giving your position away. Jumping on the bed at the end of Laughing Octopus's fight will cause her to also jump on the bed and start attacking Snake. At the end of Act 1, during the frog fight, Johnny can't stop sharding himself the entire time, barely contributing to the battle, and will visually have a stain on his pants. And the fact that Meryl still married him after this is the true meaning of love on the battlefield.
Get out of the way!
Pressing triangle when Ocelot taunts you will cause Solid to taunt back and regain health. And finally, my favorite one, doing nothing while he chokes Snake will cause this to happen. Because the syringe acts as a steroid and suppresses one's nanomachines at the same time, using it on enemies will cause their emotions to run wild. Jabbing it a second time will cause them to pass out and start foaming from the mouth. If Snake jabs himself more than 10 times, he'll start to throw up as it lowers his stamina. Going past 20 times will eventually cause him to lose half of his health every jab, stopping at just 1 HP every time if you're already low on health. That's because the more your body relies on nanomachines and the SOP system to suppress emotions and enhance performance, it'll cause worse adverse side effects to your mind and body if they suddenly shut down, as seen at the end of Act 1 by Ocelot, which is why it only takes 1 jab on the frog soldiers to knock them out. When revisiting Shadow Moses, by taking pictures in certain areas, you'll capture ghosts hiding in the frame. But equipping the Sorrow Doll will allow you to see them in the camera viewer without needing to take a pic. These ghosts range from staff at Kojima Productions, including the man himself, to characters from the MGS franchise and other Konami IPs. Because there's so many, I won't show every one, and you don't get anything from finding them all, but you can exercise them out of the photo in the main menu. There's even a ghost next to this crashed helicopter, which was Liquid's in MGS1. After finishing the game, you unlock the race gun, which might seem like any other normal pistol, but it's actually the only weapon to have ricocheting bullets in MGS4. Other cool weapons include the Tanegashima musket, which has a 1 in 3 chance of causing a massive tornado that'll suck up enemies on the field when firing. It also causes enemies to drop drowning amounts of items, so don't forget to scavenge after. The solar gun knocks people out non-lethally with one shot and makes them drop items in the process. It also can only be charged by standing in the sun. Shooting the Patriot has a small chance at playing parts of the Snake Eater theme. And killing enough people with a machine gun will cause Snake to scream and enter high combat mode. The emotive bullets can cause enemies to uncontrollably lose their minds. For example, shooting the laughter bullets will fill the enemy's mind with a sadistic sense of humor, causing them to shoot their comrades for fun. Using the rage ammo will fill them with aggro, making them rush other opponents on the battlefield while completely disregarding their safety. While the crying bullets make soldiers break out in tears, rendering them unable to fight in combat. This also happens for the screaming ammo, since the soldiers will run away in fear. What's good is all kills from soldiers under the effects of emotive bullets won't count as a kill from Snake, so use them in your non-lethal playthroughs. Each emotion also has its respective cry from the affected soldier. When using a rifle, you can turn enemies around and hold them up with CQC by pressing and holding the grapple button. If you press R1, then rapidly tap it while pulling the analog stick left or right as the animation is still going, it'll cause Snake to disarm and knock out the enemy with a ground slam. When holding knives or pistols, you can also disarm enemies by tapping grapple, then repeatedly press it as the animation is still going, which makes Snake do a swift disarm in the hole. Doing this while pulling the analog stick in any direction will add a ground slam to the combo for an easy hold up. Other cool CQC moves include while holding a guard and crouching. If you let go of the grapple button for a brief moment, then hold left or right with R1 again, it'll cause Snake to go on top of the guard and start strangling him. Also, pressing the action button after getting knocked over will cause Snake to do a quick recovery roll in the direction he fell, which is really useful in small areas. Rapid fire facts. By giving militia members food, it'll turn their status to allies, allowing you to freely walk beside them without a problem, even in the militia safe zone in Act 1. They'll even sometimes give you items back in exchange, which is pretty cool. Playing specific music on the iPod while choking guards will cause one of the 4 emotions or a status effect to happen after letting go of the hold. Though sometimes it doesn't always work properly. Similarly, in the White Room with the Beauties, playing this J-pop song will cause them to dance. And of course, whipping out the camera will cause them to pose like a model, but I'm sure you already tried that. Safe to say, this is the worst time for someone to walk in when playing the game. During each act briefing, Sunny's egg cracking skills improves over the course of the game, eventually only using one hand to crack one open. Plus, Act 3, called Third Sun, has 2 yolks coming out from one egg, which represents the twin suns, and Solidus on the side. Also in the briefing, before Naomi joins the group, there isn't a camera on Otacon's desk, but he clearly has one after, which you can see its live feed on his laptop screen. Plus, in Act 2, while searching for Naomi, you might encounter this.
What's this doing here? Naomi.
And of course, most importantly, don't forget to pose with the statue in the beginning of the game. But we've shown even more cooler details about Metal Gear Peace Walker and Snake Eater in this video here.